I think what makes a great leader is someone who cares. I think it's really hard to be a great leader if you are just clocking in and clocking out and are miserable the entire time. So like, we can build skills and try to increase our capabilities, but I don't think that you can be a good leader without some level of care for your team members or processes or the company.
Communication, being able to be approached, so being approachable is a big one. Being able to make decisions, drive conversations, drive change, and just being fun to be around.
A use of empathy and strength.
I think making a great leader is someone, I guess mainly team members can look up to, someone they know they can rely on and will bat for them.
Communication is key. Having trust, building trust with your team is huge. I mean, that's core and foundational.
To me, a great leader is somebody whose behaviors are worth emulating.
Openness to listen to new ideas was another one. And I think a big one is just encouragement and, getting the most out of their employees.
Being able to problem solve and being able to make hard decisions when needed.
I think being brave is a big one, because I think sometimes having to be brave as a leader is hard. So having that is a huge skill.
I'm hoping to grow more in collaboration. I'm very independent in my role now, and it'd be interesting to see how I could work with other people in leadership.
I think the pieces that I personally would like to develop more is more to better my communication skills.
Knowing how to communicate and knowing how to help others learn to do their job.
Yeah, I think I'd like to collaborate more across other teams and not just work so much just within my own team.
Being able to engage with your team, follow through, I think is another huge thing. If you don't follow through, then people don't trust you, which is another big thing with leadership, is building trust.
My favorite part about being a leader so far is working as a team to find success and finding ways to meet client needs.
Overall, helping my team with their weaknesses. Some of the time they doubt themselves in their weaknesses and they're like, I can't do this, I can't overcome it, and watching them turn them into strengths and actually take charge and become a super strong billing manager.
And it's just nice to be able to make people feel good about what they're doing, make them feel appreciated. We have such a great team, just working too closely with them. So I love making that good connection with people while we're at work, so they feel appreciated.
I think a great leader is somebody who leads, and I feel like that's a silly way to put it, but like it's somebody who knows what needs to be done and takes charge and like gives direction is a big thing. Like not just going and doing the work, but showing people how to do it, leading the way.
Someone that is able to make difficult decisions and is not afraid to do that.
I think the biggest thing in terms of a great leader is just that constant support and knowing that I'm appreciated or that I'll be supported beyond the bounds of, Conservice.
Somebody that's willing to dig in with people and help people overcome the challenges of the job and continue forward.
Someone who is willing to inspire and push people and not just think of themselves.
Motivating people, achieving results, especially on frontline leaders, managing conflicting, well maybe not conflicting, but just different perspectives, where you have like the higher perspective, your marching orders, and then the marching orders from your team, their boots on the ground perspective, and trying to find a balance where they're happy and enjoying their job, but you're still achieving what your leaders are hoping that your team achieves.
I cannot believe how fast this last year has gone. It's been an amazing year of knowledge and growth in my leadership, but I think what I really value the most is just gaining an amazing peer group.
I think the most valuable skill I've learned this year is emotional intelligence. That being able to recognize, understand, and manage my own emotions while influencing the emotions of others. I really feel like it's the glue that helps my technical and strategic skills work together.
I have really learned to listen before I respond or react. And I feel like that's a superpower that I have now. We talked a lot about communication in the leadership essentials and how we can best communicate our purpose and what maybe we need and how to do that in the most efficient way. And something that I kept coming back to when I was thinking about all this was, how am I listening to understand rather listen to react?
Meeting with all the other team leads, I've learned that others are experts in their fields and that I need to learn how to communicate with others in their fields of expertise, just as I can communicate with my own employees, knowing how they think.
But what was actually the most valuable part of the program for me was approaching all the different real life scenarios that would happen for my day-to-day job with all these various concepts in mind from the Leadership Essentials program, and being able to put those just thinking styles or just being a little more intentional about how I approached that. And I think I grew a lot from that.
I remember a lot about the 80-20 concept, where when you're in a one-on-one, the employee should be doing about 80% of the talking. It's required me to ask a lot more open-ended questions, a lot more questions just to check in on the team members. I feel like I've learned so much by implementing this from my team members, and so that they're doing most of the talking. And it's also been really powerful to help with the relationship.
Effective leadership isn't about finding a quote-unquote hack. It's about balancing opposing forces where a leader must be aggressive but not reckless, empathetic but not enabling, and disciplined but not rigid.
One moment from the program I'll never forget is honestly just the original 3-day residential. I continue to think about how that was, like spending 3 full days with other leaders who share many of my struggles and pain points, as well as many of my inspirations and hopes as a leader. It was really cool to be in the room with so many people who share that, and that's something that I continue to think about as I look back on it.
One thing that I was very grateful for is taking the problems that I experienced and bringing them to my group so that we could discuss and have different ideas. They would bring different perspectives based off of where they are working in their departments, and it was kind of nice to hear the different feedback and see how my changes could affect another team.
One moment from the program that I'll never forget is changing our wording of hard conversations. Going from hard conversations to developmental conversations helped rewire my brain into thinking that this conversation is going to be okay. It's helping develop this team member instead of being like, oh, this is going to be a hard conversation. I don't want to have it. Get that anxiety up the road. But the developmental conversation wording of it all helped so much more, where I was like, oh, I'm going to coach them.
As a leader, I have more impact now as I focus not only on the immediate effects of processes and adjustments that my team can be affected by, but also the ripple effect that can come both upstream and downstream, and keeping that in mind while we're tweaking and improving various aspects. It also was really helpful hearing the different challenges and perspectives from other members of the cohort, as that helped me deepen my understanding of where my team can help improve things the most.
As a leader, I have more impact now as I utilize the experiences that I learned during the Leadership Essentials. When I think of this question, I have a little bit of a hard time answering for a moment, and my mind turned to my team that I've been on for a little over 2 years. A few months ago, I took on some additional responsibilities, and my team expressed that they didn't want me to leave the team. I felt very seen and appreciated, and I felt that my impact was not only on my team, but those around me, and that my experience at work has really shifted to be not just positive, but reliable with the skills that I have utilized from the Essentials course. I felt like I was a good leader before the course, but I feel like I was given so many more examples of situations and more tools to keep in my toolbox so that I can work through to continue to be a better leader each and every day.
As a leader, I have more impact now because I show up with more clarity and consistency for my team. By giving regular direct feedback to my team members as well as to those around me, I'm creating clearer expectations, stronger communication, and a more accountable team.
I think the biggest impact that I have now from this course is just the effect that I have on other people. I knew that I would make changes and it would eventually go to somebody else and I would have made an impact to somebody else. But when I am at the bottom of the totem pole, it doesn't feel that way when I make changes, because it feels like it's just filtering down to our clients and residents that we're billing. But when I am making changes, it does affect the other teams, and being able to recognize that and see that a lot better has really helped me and be a better leader of how it impacts my team, and then also how it impacts everyone around our department and our team.
As a leader, I now have more impact as I practice greater intentionality in my communication and problem solving. Rather than reacting to challenges and putting out fires, I try to lead through them with a deliberate strategy that aligns my team's efforts with our broader objectives.
My leadership superpower now, I would say agility. Instead of sticking to the plan because it's the plan or the way we've always done things, I hear that a lot here at Conservice, being able to treat that plan as a hypothesis that I'm constantly testing, being able to turn change from a threat to more fuel.
And my leadership superpower is now having meaningful, honest conversations, even when they're hard with my team members. That's something that I would avoid previously.
If I had to name my leadership superpower now, it would be my one-on-one meetings. I've become much better at active listening and giving my team the dedicated time they need to share how things are really going. I think with that active listening and combining that with real action, it's helped build more trust between me and my team members, that they know that I'm really listening and taking action from the things that they share with me.
My leadership superpower now is being in control when necessary, while fostering a team that can take lead directly, knowing that I am there for them as support if they need it.
I'm going to continue my own leadership journey by just practicing active listening, really shutting out all the outside distractions, and always going to continue to learn.
I will continue my own personal leadership development going forward as I work on building better expectations for my team.
I'll continue my own personal leadership development going forward as I continue to provide clarity. I remember Krista made the comment, the clear is kind comment. That's really stuck with me the last year. I'm making sure my expectations, my deadlines, and how I define success for each role on my team is very, very clearly defined. And I'm planning on continue to improving clarity on my team this next year as we develop some more concrete metrics. And so my team members are very clear on when they're being successful and what successful looks like for every single one of them.
For my future development, going to continue owning my personal leadership development by constantly setting new goals for myself. The nature of the work is always changing. It means there's always new areas where I can plan actionable steps for growth.
I will continue to my own personal leadership development going forward as I remember to stay humble, ask why questions to gain insight on how others are approaching the topic.
I will own my personal leadership development by continuing to learn from my peers and dedicating specific time to looking up more, just as Mike advised us to do during the 3-day residential.
Definitely not perfect, but I've come a long way in the last year, and I look forward to continuing to grow.
I am so honored to be a part of this program.
I wanted to just say thank you to all of those who put in so much time and effort into this course, because I really do appreciate and see all of the time that was put into this, not just by myself, but by my peers and by the people who put together the program. So I want to shout out and say thanks to everyone.